Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Merchant, or Connor, or Seaglass, who knows? But anyway, this video today is a sort of long overdue developer update, but I wanted to do it with like a more of a theme than just like, hey, here's what's going on. And I figured that given some conversations I've had with people recently, and conversations I've seen as well, I figured I would go at it more from a sort of like a things that I wish people had told me standpoint before, or not told me, but just things that I don't think get spoken about enough. And I'm going to do this, and this is obviously slightly ironic given I'm essentially doing the same, but I'm doing this because I actually think a lot of the game dev stuff I see online is kind of like polluted in a sense, or like kind of misleading, or encourages people down some paths that I don't necessarily agree with. And yeah, obviously this is just my opinion. It doesn't make those things any less valid, but it is still my opinion, and I'm going to share it with you. So I'm going to just like contextualize some stuff first. I'm making this video because we've been pretty successful in early access with our game. We have a game on Steam called Dice with Death. You can check it out at the link down below if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. But yeah, if you haven't, go give it a look. Obviously, that benefits me, but also it will help contextualize some of the things that I speak about in the video. And I'm also going to show some things on screen just to like back up points I make, or add further context to things or whatever. So anyway, let's just get straight into things. I want to immediately start this out differently because one thing I see all the time that I think does annoy me and will sort of add to one of my points later on is you'll often see these, threads on the Reddit, on Gamedev Reddit, or, on like social media and stuff being like, oh, here's how to market a game. Here's what we did with our game, blah, blah, blah. And then the top comment will say, oh, can you show how many copies you sold? There'll be no response because it's just nobody wants to actually admit, like, hey, here's how successful I actually am. Not nobody, that's a generalization, but generally speaking, I think it's really, really important if you're like, hey, you know, I'm a best-selling author, to name the book that was best-selling, right? So people can go and look it up and just give some context for people looking for information. So I'm just going to show you how many copies we sold. Yeah, this is our sales so far. We've been in early access for 6 months. Obviously, I'm not going to show like financial stuff, but I did just want to show how many copies. And we've sold 13,000. Well, we sold 14,000 copies essentially, 1,100 of which have been returned. We'll talk about that in a second. Retail units just means free copies. So that might be, well, some might be our live testing accounts, or like when we first released into early access, I was just like, hey, are you a small streamer or YouTuber and you want free games to look at? Like, DM me, right? So it's just codes that we gave out, basically. Um, Return rate is one of the reasons why we've managed to be pretty successful so far. The average on Steam seems to be about 10.5% or so from my research and collating a lot of different people's claims and stuff, but it seems to be about 10.5%. So as you can see, and for early access games, one could assume, and seems to be the case, that it's a little bit higher because some people will buy it, play it as almost a demo, which I think is a good thing to do, and then return it and wait for 1.0 or just not like it, etc., which is fine. And so obviously our return rate being well below the average is really, really good, and that's been a great indicator so far. And the nice thing is, when we first went into early access, I'll just tell you guys this, we were like at about 10.8%, so on the upper end of normal, but we were like a day one early access game. And it's gone down, as you can see, over time, which is just great. Like, it's obviously, I mean, what better indicator is that than more and more people are finding our game like attractive to play, and they're enjoying it and they're not returning it, which is great. So yeah, that's how many copies we sold. I just wanted to immediately at the start be upfront and be like, here you go. If this isn't enough for you to listen to what I'm saying, that's fine. But hopefully this helps contextualize that yes, we have actually been reasonably successful in our game. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about things that I think don't get discussed enough. That's one of them, like how many copies do people actually sell, and the other one is just, well, there's a few other ones, but I wanted to start. I don't know. Look, there's no real good way to structure this video, right? So I'm just going to talk through some things that I think are very important. So I guess we'll lead on from that, and we'll say how do I think we've been fairly successful so far? And I think there's a couple elements to this. One of them is laying the groundwork. Like, do not, you only get, okay, early access, you get maybe 1.5, if you're lucky, chances to launch your game. One being the early access launch, the half being when you go to 1.0, right? realistically, most games get one chance to launch their game, and I'll talk about early access as well in a bit because I think that's an important thing to talk about. You get one chance. Don't think that it's so easy, and this is something that we'll get to as well. But people love cherry picking, and everybody. This is a human thing. This isn't aimed at anybody. I do this. Like people love cherry picking examples that support their presumptions. And what I mean by that is if I'm like, oh, any game you make that has a chainsaw in it is going to make a lot of money. And people are like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, look at Resident Evil. And people would be like, well, yeah, but that's one game. And I'm like, nope, that proves my point. Like, people do that. That's like a logical fallacy that people do, right? I don't know the proper name of it because I'm stupid, but that's a very dangerous thing to do. So don't do that. And, people will be like, but this game launched and had 10 players peak. And then 2 years later, it blew up. Or, they'll look at like incredible games like Warframe and be like, well, Warframe slowly grew over time. And it's like, yes, but now let's talk about the 99.9% of games that launched into obscurity and never recovered. So do the groundwork. People don't like doing it. I don't like doing it. It's boring, but you have to make people aware that your game exists because your game can be amazing. And if nobody knows that it exists, it does not matter. And don't get sucked into like positive feedback loops. That's what I'll call it. So, it doesn't, obviously it's lovely, and we'll get to why it's important that your friends on Discord like the game. That's great. But hey, that might be 7 people. And if 7 people buy your game, cool. I hope you enjoy your $45, but it's not going to be enough to sustain you. And especially if you're going early access, you have to think about that because you have to, I believe, at least, you know, many devs do, but some don't. I believe that you have a duty of care to like deliver upon the game that you're making, right? Obviously, things change in early access, of course they do, but like you still have to make it to 1.0. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know. I like sleeping at night, but so you have to sustain yourself up to that point. So you have, as much as you have a duty to make your game from early access to 1.0 for your players who have bought into your vision to support you making it, because don't forget that's what early access is. These are people giving you money to make your game because they like what already exists. They are supporting you, and I know there's a bunch of legal reasons why that's not the case. Morally, I think it is. So you have to approach it just as much as you have that duty to make your game and finish it, or get to 1.0. Not saying that's finished, but you have the same duty to ensure that you do the necessary work, and it's the word we all hate, but like marketing and like branding your game so that enough people see it so you can sustain it and reach that, like end goal of delivering the 1.0 game to your players, right? And so many devs, and I don't blame them because we all hate it. I do blame them, but I understand why. They never think about marketing, they never think about branding because that's horrible non-developer stuff that we've all, or many of us, have worked at companies with people with MAs in marketing that are like genuinely damaging to the companies and stuff. So I get it, but it doesn't change the fact that people have to know your game exists. You want, like, we went into Next Fest with a few thousand wish lists, and it was enough to get people playing the demo. And we ended up going to early access, which was 2.5 months. So just for context, so people understand the timeline, Next Fest, we were in the February 2025. No, goodness. Yes, that's right. February 2025 Next Fest. And then we went to early access in May 2025, and we've been in early access for what, like 6.5 months or something? Maybe exactly 7 months now, actually. Just to contextualize the sales numbers and stuff. So you need to do that groundwork. From December, I was like, and yeah, it's cringe, but it's necessary. I was like posting reels, posting YouTube shorts, showing us making the game, posting TikToks, like, and each platform has its different strengths and advantages. Obviously, I was very lucky, there was still some, and I'm sure some of them will click on this video. Hello, like, still some, like older Magic fans and Dungeons and Dragons fans from my channels past who were amazingly nice and were very supportive of the game in its infancy, which was helpful beyond measure. And of course, why would I not leverage that? It would be stupid of me. It would be irresponsible of me not to. And not everybody has that. I don't have it to like a huge degree, right? But most people have some avenue of attracting attention to their game. Even if you don't have any avenue, you can build them up. Like discoverability on things like YouTube Shorts is really good. Discoverability on things like TikTok is really good. Even if it fails the first 5 times, it does not mean it will fail the 6th. Like, keep posting your game. And this is going to segue really nicely into my second point, which is maybe more controversial, but keep posting your game, keep talking about your game. Don't spam people with it, but post it where it is and let people discover it. And communicate. Like, use your friends. Like, hey, I posted a thing about my game. Do you mind like retweeting it or whatever it's called on Instagram? Like, use those connections because you are taking on something that is so hard to do. And you have to like throw yourself at every aspect of it, not just the aspects you like. So speaking of getting your game out there and making sure that you have some groundwork done, because like I say, you get one chance to press that go live button, and if there's not enough people there waiting, it's Steam is an algorithm. And I know we're on YouTube, right? We've all heard of the algorithm. Steam is very similar, and I'll talk about that after well, no, I guess let's just cover it now because it's really important for everything we're going to talk about. So Steam is an algorithm, same as anything else. The homepage is not manually set. Obviously, it can be when there's like a big banner event on, but generally speaking, Steam, I mean, there's the discovery queue, right? It will show you games that it thinks that you will be the most interested in buying. What does Steam do? Steam makes money. There's the old joke about Valve, why make games when you can just make money? Like, you have to please the Steam algorithm to the point where it will want to show your game to people. And there's certain things that you have to achieve for this. You'll see posted around a lot, like one of the favorite things of people to post is this, like, you need 7,000 wish lists. If you don't have 7,000 wish lists, Steam won't show your game to anyone. And it's like, does your wish list count? Is it super important? Yes, it is your most important number before the game is live. Another one supersedes it afterwards, well, 2 superseded afterwards. But it is the most important number you have before the game is live. You can remember, like, anybody who watched my say that like I'm the only person who did it. Anybody who's watched any YouTube channel ever, or my mythical YouTube channel, you know how it's annoying, but every now and again a creator will interrupt what they're doing and be like, "Oh, hit the subscribe button, by the way." The reason they do that is because it's really important for the health of their channel. I don't think it's as important nowadays, but it used to be like paramount. Your wishlist count, think of it that way before you go live. You wouldn't spend 9 months of your life working on a video and release it on a YouTube channel with 0 subs because you'd be screaming into the void, even if it's brilliant, right? You would probably do some work to like grow up a little bit of an audience and then make your magnum opus. Well, in games, we don't really get to do that. Things like Next Fest does give us an opportunity to do a version of that, but even then, going into Next Fest, we had a few thousand wish lists from like social media advertising, YouTube, stuff like that, that we used because again, Next Fest is PvP as well. That's an algorithm. You got to get your game shown to people. So yeah, you really, really, really need to do the groundwork. And I know nobody likes to do it, but most important number before you go live is wish lists. I don't agree with the 7,000 wish list thing. I think that there is one of these numbers that has a hard milestone in it. I don't think wishlist is the same. I actually viewed the most correlation between my discoverability and my wishlist count based on the velocity of recent wishlists. Like weeks that, maybe I'd posted a reel and like, spent $50 like advertising on Instagram and we got a bunch of clicks. I would see natural Steam discovery go up because the wishlist velocity was increasing. So yeah, I think like it's not as simple as get 7,000 wishlists. I think it's like that's a good goal to aim for. I think it's more important. I would say it's more important to have like a healthy velocity of wish lists going into your launch. Think like 2 weeks out, you're going to have a date visible on your Steam page. 2 weeks out, do everything you can so that every day as many people as possible are wishlisting the game. That's going to tell the Steam algorithm, look, people see this and they like it. Show it to people, right? And then, okay, let's say you do well on that. Let's say you get, you have 6, 7, 8,000 wish lists and you've been getting a couple hundred a day for the last week or two. Fantastic. You've done a great job. It's really hard. If you do that, fantastic. What's next? Well, there is one thing, and if I could choose one thing to force every single person releasing a game who cares about it being a success to do, it would be this. This is get 10 reviews as quick as you can. And I don't mean they don't count if you give them out from free codes, those reviews aren't shown. You have to get 10 reviews as close as you can. So the reason for this is Valve seems to use 10 reviews as the mark of like, this is not a spam upload when a game is put live, which I know sounds weird, but you'll find a lot of cases of people claiming this. People then say there's other milestone reviews like 50 and 100 and I think like 250. I don't know. People always claim there's other milestones. I haven't seen anything concrete enough to say yes there is, but the one that I absolutely would confirm is in that first day, in those first few hours, we went live, and let's say like our wishlisters and stuff were coming and looking at the game, and people were seeing it from like popular upcoming and stuff. And let's say I don't know, let's make it up. Let's say like this is the line of our visibility, right? And it's going like this, and like people were looking at it. Oh, that's cool. Then we hit 10 reviews, and it went like this. Like the second we hit 10 reviews, all of a sudden traffic, like comments, like community hub, like more reviews coming in just went like that. It was insane. So basically what I'm saying is make sure, and don't tell them what to write. This is the thing. You never ever want to be that guy. You don't want to be the thing that's like, oh, well, that guy's got loads of positive reviews, but it's because, he gives out game codes for positive reviews on his comments. Like, don't do that. Don't tell them what to write. But should you have 10 people ready to get your game and just be like, it's really important, like explain to them, maybe you know them, friends, family, whatever. It's really important to explain to them. It's so vital that you leave me a review. Like, play the game. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please leave me a review. It's so important to get those first ones. Like, I'm serious. Like, grovel. Like, this is like, this is like medieval peasant crawling around in the mud. I don't care. Like, you go up, you kiss their feet. You're just like, please give me those 10 reviews, because that is the mark that Steam's going to see you as a real upload. They know it's not shovelware, student game, whatever. There's plenty of games under 10 reviews that are perfectly valid, but there's also plenty that aren't. And it does appear to be Steam uses it as a benchmark of like, okay, let's actually show this to people. Just saying. You also don't even get a score visible before 10. So just saying. That seems to be the case. Other algorithmic things. So yeah, wishlist beforehand. Afterwards, second most important, reviews. Velocity of reviews and total count of reviews both seem to matter. There is one number that's more important than reviews, though, and you might be able to guess what this is. And this is the inconvenient truth of selling games on Steam. The best way to sell more copies of your game is by selling more copies of your game, which I know is undeniably true, but it does have another meaning, which is Steam is an algorithm. What's the best way to get more views on a YouTube video? Get more people to view the video by clicking on it. So, obviously, this is a bit of an impossible conundrum, right? You need to sell more copies to get Steam to show your game to more people to sell more copies. So, how do you do this? Well, there are a few ways you can do it on the Steam backend. You have like visibility rounds for updates in the future and stuff where it'll show the update to current players. That might encourage them to post a review, stuff like that. But really, this is where your wish list comes in very helpful. And this is where being smart with things like your pricing and things like your timing come in, because you have to understand that there's no such thing as a steady line of sales, right? Like, let's just discard being a developer. As a player, when do you buy the most games? When they're on sale, obviously. So aggressively use sales. Like, every single time you go on sale, as long as I believe it is 30% or over, it might be 20% off the top of my head. I can't quite recall. I think it's 30 though. If you're above that mark, your wishlisters will get an email that says, hey, a game on your wishlist is on sale. And that's where that groundwork comes in really positive, because then what do you have? Well, all of a sudden, every month when you can go on sale, it's got a 30-day cooldown being on sale. So every 30 days when you can go on sale for 2 weeks, you have the ability to summon the wishlist, right? Or like, and also, of course, everybody that like let's use my game as an example, right? Like, let's use Dice with Death, which you could go and look at on Steam, and if you don't buy it, wishlist it. Although, if you're looking at this in December, we are 50% off for the holidays. So if you buy it now, you get all of the 1.0 content, of course. So anyway, now that I've done my self promotion, let's look at my game on Steam, right? The really, really important thing to note here is that our amount of reviews is very good. Our recent reviews, it's okay. We got 34, bit over 1 a day, right? That's in the last 30 days. Um, pretty good, 97% positive in the last 30 days. And so our velocity of reviews is okay. Our total number of reviews is pretty good for an early access game. And what this is going to do is our game passively gets shown to people just based off of this, right? Like, let's say we're not on sale, and I'm just gonna tell you in numbers, because this is something that annoys me. People always like talking around what their actual numbers are. But I'll give you some example numbers, right? Let me just find them right now. Actually, I'm not going to give you I can't really give you like financial details. Obviously, that would be a bit reckless in case a certain member of the $1 million corporation's watching. But let me just get the sales numbers when we went on Steam. Here we go. Okay, so let me illustrate the power of sales to you. And I'm sorry, you're going to hear my cat meowing, because that do be what she does. So we went on sale recently. Our sale started on the 3rd of December. Now, because it started on the 3rd of December, that means that I can tell you the amount of sales that we sold on that first day. So we sold 108 copies. Now, bear in mind, it's only actually on sale for half of that day, because our sales started at about 5 p.m. No, 6 p.m. I think UTC. So that is 6 p.m. in England, like 1 p.m. here in Toronto. So it's only on sale for about half the day. So like a lot of players outside those time zones, maybe they're like later in Europe, or they're in like we have quite a few sales in like Japan, stuff like that. They're not going to see it. So it's only on sale for half the day. Anyway, it's my point. So we sold 108 copies in that half a day on sale, right? Now sorry, I am doing this live, which is why I'm sort of like stalling by talking, but let me get the details for the day before we went on sale. The day before we went on sale, we sold 8 copies. That's the difference. So, and that's pretty normal, by the way. The biggest surprise to me, but it makes sense when you think about just how you behave as a consumer, is most games, 90% of their sales happen while they are on sale. So, what can we take from this? Well, 2 important things. 1, price your game as though you are going to be selling it at least a 30% discount for the overwhelming majority of sales, right? I knew that I wanted to target, and bear in mind I live in Canada, so I'm talking Canadian. I wanted to target like $10 a sale. I want my game to be affordable, obviously. We're an indie game. I want as many people to play it as possible. And I wanted to target, like $10 a sale. So what did I do? Well, I priced it at $16. We're cheaper than our competitors. I say competitors. Cheaper than our, similar games like Balatro, stuff like that. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I can discount it like 30, 40, 50%, and it'll be about the mark that I'm happy selling it at. So, yes, you will sell the Steam loves games on sale. So do players, obviously. And you are now seeing this. Petra's going to meow at me all the time. Sorry. You're now seeing this like reflected in how games behave. And look, this is one thing that you have to learn to detach yourself with, because if I'm happy getting $10 a sale, should I just price the game at $10? It would kind of make sense, except no, it wouldn't, because you have to go on sale to sell your game in a meaningful way on Steam. So you have to bear that in mind to be sustainable. Again, you have that duty of being sustainable so that you actually don't, crash out, lose all your money, your players never get a finished game, you're, in the doldrums. Like, don't do that. So yeah, price, assuming that you're going to be on sale as much as you can, and use those sales aggressively. Use the holiday sales. They don't count towards your normal sales thing. Apply to be in the events. We were in the like Halloween event, because of course, our game has a giant skeleton in it. We were in the Halloween event, and we will be, I don't think I can say that actually. We'll be in a future event as well. So I think I'm not allowed to announce what events I'm in on Steam before they happen. So we'll be in a future event. That's what I'll say. But and obviously, the holiday sale and stuff, everybody gets to go in, which is great. So yeah, the old catch-22 of, yes, it is rough that the best way to sell more copies of your game is by selling more copies of your game, but there are ways that you can help contribute to that. and building up that wish list based and understanding that passive rate of people that see your game gets mega boosted by a sale, not just because the wish list is coming in, purchasing, reviewing, that velocity going up, but also because of the algorithmic nature of you're on sale, it's going to show you to more people. You have ways of, you know, combating the rough nature of that. So just don't like give in to despair and be like, oh, it's not going to show my game to anyone. It cares about spikes in velocity. Velocity is the key word to algorithmic things. Like, you do not need 10,000 reviews. If you get 100 reviews in a day, obviously that's a crazy amount. If you get even like 20 reviews in a day, there's going to be a visible bump in people that Steam shows your game to. You know, the people similar to those people who left a review that liked it are going to see your game. So don't give up. There's always ways that you can manufacture and engineer towards increased visibility to your game. You have to do it. You can't be like, oh, we didn't get lucky. Oh, oh, my game's really good. It'll happen to me anyway. Nope. You have to do a lot of work towards it. Don't buy into that. And speaking of that, speaking of not buying into things, let's get on to chapter 3, 4. Who knows? I'm just rambling at this point. If there's anything interesting or you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, because I was going to go into like things in the game that you can do to help retain players, or to help like early access do well. But I think that's like a different video. So if you have any questions for me about anything, put them in the comment section. I'll try to address them in another video too. Let's go into, and this is maybe one of the more controversial ones, but this isn't aimed at anyone. I just have to say that, obviously. Don't buy into super false positive feedback loops. They're quite easy to get into. And I think there's two really good examples of this that I see people do. One of them is the classic, well, my friends like the game. Well, of course they do. They're your friends. They're being nice to you. They might like the game. They might not. They're probably going to be nice to you either way, unless they're my friends. But that's a joke. But yeah, don't. It's great if your friends like the game, and hey, look, they can contribute towards those initial 10 reviews. That's the best thing they can do. But at the same time, let's think about scale here. Let's think about not getting too tied up on one person's, differing opinion. We all have opinions. We'd all make different games. Look, if you give every person watching this video like $10 million and a team of programmers and artists, we'd probably end up with 10 million different games, right? That's just how creativity works. Don't get too encouraged or discouraged. Most importantly, discouraged. Don't allow one person to discourage you from your vision. People care, and this is a crazy thing to say, but it's true. People care way too much about a single person's feedback. And I know that sounds weird, but feedback is so important and it's so helpful. But what you should be doing is identifying trends and identifying pain points for your player base, and more importantly, your target audience from that feedback. I mean, more importantly, in the early days before you have a big player base, identify recurring pain points. And, occasionally somebody will have a singular bit of feedback that's brilliant. And you're like, yeah, of course, I didn't think of that. Generally speaking, if somebody sends you, and you will get people who do this, some people love doing this. If somebody sends you like 2 pages of feedback, cool. Like, that's one person. Don't get discouraged by like their 18 nitpicks. Like, it doesn't matter. If you've never seen a bunch of those come up before, hey, that's just their opinion, man. Like, obviously that's a generalization, but generally speaking, do not get too hung up on singular instances of feedback. Use it instead to identify trends, identify pain points. Use it to inform your intuition. You are making this. Trust your intuition, but inform it with people's feedback, with your research, with your work, etc., etc. So, God, my hair is so long at the moment. What Gamedev does to you, you just sit in an office and turn into a wizard. Hello. Sorry, we have a protest visitor, I think. But Petra's just going to wander around the desk now. But yeah, I think that's one of the key bits. And thankfully, we're nearly done, because I think Petra's going to start mauling me if I don't feed her soon. But the other thing there, and this is the last point I'll hit on for now. Please let me know if you have questions and comments and stuff in the comment section down below. But the other side of that is the game dev space online. I want to talk about that quickly. And yes, this is ironic. You coming up on my shoulders? Come on. You're going to be on camera if you do. Be shy. But this is like the really, really odd thing I have to say, I guess. It's actually so cute. But the game dev space online is really helpful and really unhelpful at the same time. You will find like loads of really fascinating, like interesting things by people. I'm sure they can hear that, Baba. That's probably not helpful. You will find like really, really interesting, fascinating things by people on there. Um, but it's very, very easy to get caught up in this false feedback loop that I'm talking about. You know, especially on Twitter. Hello, especially on Twitter. She's trying to just hit me with the mic at this point. You'll see so many things that are like, you look like you want to jump up on my shoulders, but you're. By the way, this is my like 500-pound Siberian tank cat who loves jumping up on my shoulders like when she was a kitten, but it doesn't hurt. Oh, she's on. Anyway, yeah, there's this like, look, Twitter is like where I see it the most. It happens on the Reddit and stuff, and Instagram and stuff too. It's people have ulterior motives, and that's okay. That's completely fine. Let's be honest. Like, I'm making this video. I am speaking honestly about a bunch of stuff that I've encountered and just like thought about while doing this. But at the same time, what's one of my motivations in posting this video? Well, I hope you'll go check out the Steam page of my game, and I hope that maybe you'll wishlist it or buy it or whatever. It's on sale. Like, people have other things that they want to happen from their actions. That's normal. That's fine. It's not a bad thing. But you just have to bear that in mind. Like, I see these games on Twitter and they'll have like between 5 and 15,000 followers. Many of them are fellow game developers, indie games, indie studios, whatever. And they'll all like and retweet each other's posts, and they do great numbers, and there's all these like marketing people retweeting them and liking them, and there's this whole like bubble environment, like interacting with each other. And then they release and they are like, why have I sold 15 copies in my first week? It's like, well, because, the nature of the game is that a lot of those interactions were done under the assumption that you would interact in a similar manner with their content. They're not doing it because they actually want to wishlist your game. And this is like a really painful point for a lot of people because that feels good. When somebody tweets you and they're like, this looks so cool, and they're, like a fellow developer, they're like, a fellow like person trying to achieve the thing that you're achieving, it feels really good. You have to question motivations, and it's not a bad thing. Like, it is a good way. You will get some like wish lists and stuff out of it. I'm just saying, don't rely on it. Like, you will see this in content as well. Like, when you see like, and there are some really good game dev YouTubers out there. I always forget their names, but there's one guy that I really like watching. I'll try to find it for the next video. But there are some really good stuff out there. There's also a lot of stuff out there that is making content, and that's the business. Like, the business is making content, telling you how to make a game, how to market a game, stuff like that. Try to find people where that's not their primary motivation. And I'm not saying that those people don't have anything good to say. I'm just saying that like they are going to be making the broadest appeal, most engageable. It's not coming from a pure sense of like informing and sharing information about game development, right? Or hey, look, you would rather somebody was doing it, and like I'm doing it from the sense of like I like talking about this stuff. I miss making YouTube videos every now and again, and yeah, I want people to look at my game. Of course I do. Like, but I am doing it from a sense of like, I'm actually doing this. If you want to see my thing, here it is. Here's what I think. I'm not like I make daily game dev videos, and that's my entire thing. Because those people, and there's been some famous cases of it recently, where I saw some of the things they were saying, and I was just like, this is nonsense. And they're doing it because it's very engageable, and that's their business. Because hey, I'm going to tell you something that those people wouldn't like, probably, but making games is way harder than making videos about making games. Like, it's way harder. Marketing a game is way more difficult than writing blogs about marketing a game. Like, so just be scrutinous of the sources of information that you're engaging with and just don't waste too much time on it. Like, I see people who really, really seek out a huge amount of content because they think it's preparing them in some way. When anybody, and again, that's probably me generalizing, but I would assume most people who make games will tell you that the best way to make games is to make games. Like yeah, it's really hard. And yeah, I watch so many tutorials from, like seemingly 70-year-old Ukrainian men with no webcam and a microphone that came free with AOL in 1998 explaining programming issues to me. They're great. I love those guys. They get 15 views a video and 15 comments from people like me going, "Thank you so much. I couldn't do this." Um, you know, there is amazing information out there, but sometimes the information that comes to the forefront isn't coming to the forefront for necessarily the same reasons as the stuff you actually want to find is. Forums are great. We're all nerds. We all wish it was 2005 and we're still active on forums. Like the Unreal forum, I'm an Unreal developer in case anyone doesn't know. The Unreal forums are really good. Like, if you're programming, yeah, like things like Stack Overflow, great. Like, don't copy paste solutions, but use them to inform yourself and like learn how things work. Don't get caught up in this like content machine that exists around game dev because, and yeah, I don't engage with it that much, but I'm sure there is like a lot of valid information and good channels in there. But there's also a lot of people who, to put it in the simplest way possible, that will actually impact you, will waste your time. And making games is hard, and it takes a lot of time. Don't waste your time. Yeah, that's like kind of my last point, I guess. Because I think, yeah, I could triple the length of this video talking about things to do with actually making the game. Maybe that's a different video. But let me know if any of this was interesting or if any of it raised any questions or anything. Put them in the comment section. Seriously, I'll go through and reply to everyone. I don't expect very many people to watch this video because it's kind of like a niche, weird topic. I just kind of found it. I like giving you guys updates because there are people on this channel that have watched me. I mean, my goodness, I started streaming on Twitch in like 2016. There's people who've like followed me in some sense for like 9 years at this point, like nearly 10 years since like Jagex days. And that's really like incredible. And like a lot of those people's early support on the game like helped contribute to its success. So I do like doing these updates for that reason as well. So, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'll try to go through them. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Take care. And have a great day. And yeah, again, I'll make another video talking more about like game specific. So check out the game. Bye.